During the summer of 2023, we moved to a remote Scottish Hebridean island to be its only two residents, along with our two pet sheep and pair of cats. These remote islands seem to retain an old-fashioned rhythm and a charm which we find encouraging us to live a more frugal and simple life, the way man was perhaps more intended to. We have an ancient stone cottage to restore, veggies to grow, livestock to build up, fish to catch and smoke, a boat to buy, and much more. Step back in time with us at the Scottish Isle.
Bodge.
What? It's not bodge, it's bedge.
What are you doing, Bedge?
I haven't got my hat on.
No,
I haven't got my beanie on.
It's true.
So it's neither. You've ruined it. Has to have the beanie on to be bedge.
What are you doing today?
I should have put that on much earlier.
Why?
I'm doing this. What is it? I've taken photographs of this and I've put it through AI, and it can't determine what it is either. It's
Well, it's slow growing.
pitch,
It's not pitch.
larch, not larch. I can't figure out what wood it is. It weighs a ton.
Well, it's slow growing. It's a hardwood.
This is pitch.
Yeah, pitch pine on the front. Okay, I'll give you that.
This is mahogany.
Yeah, that's mahogany. Cherry?
No, it's not even cherry. I don't know. It could be cherry. It could be cherry. It could be pitch pine. It could be ash.
Well, I think the Victorians built a lot out of oak and cherry,
Well,
didn't they?
we know from doing this that whenever you sand these down, I mean, I hate sanding these down, if I'm perfectly honest. But it's so dark in here, and there were so many dints and chips and marks all over this from moving it down the hill.
It was a scumble glaze, wasn't it?
Yeah. It kind of gives it a walnut effect, But anyway, the whole point is sanding it down is to make it a bit lighter. I'm not doing the internals, and then I'm just going to osmo the whole thing. And
Well, you'll know as soon as you put any oil on it if it's cherry or not. The amount of Victorian furniture that we've... Oh, I just about fell. That we've saved from decades, centuries old varnish and brought it back to wood, and the cherry with oil on it just looks incredible.
yeah, I've got no idea. I've given up now. I've given up trying to guess what this is. It's just one of those ones where this particular... Because, you know, the mismatches that they always used to use when they were making this furniture, they would never use the quality wood in every single part of it, would they?
Not always, no.
The quality furniture, yes, but the mass-produced stuff...
Well, it looks better than it did, although you've missed a bit. You've missed several bits.
Yeah, it's not finished. Well, you just interrupted me while I was doing it.
I do beg your pardon. What are you doing with your wonky bit of roof up there?
With it, what, this?
Yeah.
I can't, you know what, I tried pulling this off before and it won't come off.
Good grief, that is rotten through.
I know it is. This is what, you know, the owner said when he saw this, that this building was not built to last.
Well, your clematis is coming out.
Oh, I nearly hit Issa. I didn't see her. She was behind the barrel. All of this needs sealing. And see here,
Yeah.
rain's getting underneath that tin roof because the tin roof, once again, doesn't come out. So all the rain's getting under there. So all that needs sealing off a whole bit. You know what you can do while you're here?
What's that? My arm's getting sore now.
Well, you can still come up here and...
We'll need to show everybody all the bits that have arrived. We're just waiting on the camera now. It's coming from Italy, so it's on its way.
I've got some paper for you. I've got a pen for you. And I've got the tech kit. Look at this.
You got your big tape, Alan.
Right, so what we're doing is we're going to measure this, because this is the plan. Measure the dimensions of this perfectly, measure the dimensions of all the bookcases that I've got, and then we create a plan, and then we shift around, we cut out the little, what would they be called?
You want to make models of the bookcases.
Well, it's not models, but it's like paper cutouts, yeah?
Of their dimensions.
Of the dimensions. So we can shift it all around and we can get it perfectly, right, that's how it's going to be.
So you only want to be shifting them once?
Yeah, I don't want to be doing it again and again and again, no. So this is the plan. Whether it works or not, I don't know, but...
It's very bunkery in here.
It's very dark and it's very untidy.
Well, it's storage at the minute, isn't it? It's full of boxes.
Can I do this on my own? I should be able to.
I'm guessing 2 metres 20.
No, it's 2 minutes 25.
Oh, that's not bad.
Oh, you're going to have to get down that corner.
Why is there a step down? Why is it not on the same level?
Why is there a step down and why is there a step up over here?
Is there a step up over there?
Yeah.
What? You tell I don't come in here much. Are you pleased with your big long tape?
Oh, hang on, I've just got to get what our measurement is. 330.
These must be the original windows to the cottage. They're the right size.
Yeah, you're probably right, because he's got them from somewhere, hasn't he?
There's another one somewhere that I've seen. So they definitely are. I can't remember where I've seen the other one though.
We've just shortened that a bit for you because you can't really see in there. We was trying to film, but it's the light levels are just too low. But anyway, that's now done. We've got all the measurements for the bookcases. So this should be, I'm going to leave it in your capable hands to create the little cut-out models.
Do you remember oh well, you won't remember, but as a girl you used to get like cardboard cutouts of dolls, and you bought like paper dresses for them, and they had little tabs on them. You used to be able to change their dresses.
Do you remember the transfers you used to get in cornflake packets?
No.
You'd get like, it was Kellogg's predominantly that did this, and you'd get like a major film at the time. Like I specifically obviously remember them doing it with Star Wars, and you'd get little transfer kits on paper, and you'd have a scene from, you know, Star Wars, and you cut it out of the back of the cornflake packet and you'd fold it over, and then you'd put, you know like with transfers how you did it, you'd stick them down and you rub your pencil over it, and then you put them wherever you wanted to.
Oh, I didn't. No, I've never seen that. No.
I'm sure you live in a different world than me.
So, because I'm so much younger than the...
That's probably the boys' version of what you're talking about, you know, cutting out the... Because I remember my sisters having like Barbie things that they'd cut out.
Change the dresses on them.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. You kind of had tabs, didn't you? That yeah. Well, we're doing something very similar to that on a very lesser...
On a grown-up scale.
Yeah, on a very lesser scale, so let's get on with it.
Nice to see Jeeves out. Jeevesy! Jeevesy, are you feeling better today, Jeevesy? He's been, he had a grass blade or something stuck in his throat.
Again?
Yesterday, and he was retching. But it seems better today, don't you, Jeeves? Don't eat grass, you silly Billy. It's nice to see him out. Do you think he's waiting?
Why do cats eat grass?
Hairballs.
Well, it's stupid.
Sick up hairballs with fighting grass. He's like guarding the bridge. Are you a troll, Jeeves? Are you being a troll today? Crowdy, got the royal paw out. Do you like her haircut? I decided to give her a preemptive haircut before we shear them.
Doesn't look like Crowdy anymore.
She's got a skinhead.
It's like a skinhead sheep.
I was sitting on the phone to my friends the other day and was just snipping her head while I was doing it. It made me laugh out loud. At one point she had a little pom-pom on the top.
She'll be happier for it because of the heat.
Yeah, we need to trim them, but the shears should be arriving, I think, maybe today or tomorrow. And then we'll get them sheared, won't we, darling?
What? It's a bit...
Yeah.
I think that was just out of shot. He's attacking butterflies. Isn't it a bit early to be sharing them?
Nah, it's warm. And
Yeah, it's warm at the minute, but you know what it's like in Scotland? Any second, the temperature can just like drop like...
I know, but look at all this. She must be boiling. She was heavily breathing the other day, showing that she was hot, but we're going...
But I said the other day that she has half the wool on her this year
that she
normally
does.
has. When we was over in the borders, because we were up high on a hill and it was much colder, she had much more wool on her.
Yeah, she did.
How long did this take you to create?
Not that long.
What did you do?
Half an hour.
What mathematics were involved?
I divided everything by 3. So, yeah, you get the idea. You get to arrange your room without having to move everything around and see what it looks like. So I think it was a good idea. There's this bit here. There's this big platform.
That's in the far back where we were filming last, where you couldn't see anything. There's a platform that goes up at the back. I don't know why. But this is, in this area here, this is where there were beds. There was a bed here and there was a bed here.
Well, I would recommend this idea to anybody shifting libraries around.
It's a good idea, isn't it?
Are you quite pleased with it?
Yeah, glad I thought of it. And I did think of it. Well, that's where the desk is, so that's going to have to move up there like that. Yeah, Typical Jeeves. Jeeves, get out of the way. I'll pull your legs off. Right, so here, that's where all my coats are hanging, but that can be moved. Nothing can go there because that's where the desk is. You forgot to put the desk in.
Well, I think it goes without saying that the desk is there.
See, I want to keep this space free because I want to put another bookcase in there. So, that's the problem with being outside, look. Why didn't you put Velcro on the back of these?
Oh no. Oh no.
Well, this part's done. So if you just give us that back, that's how this is going for the time being. And the larger ones are what's needed. So...
This is a disaster. I'm going inside.
Yeah, well, it's doing it outside, but we had no choice, did we? Because when we were doing it inside, it wouldn't focus on it. But you get the idea. This is Katie's joke.
Oh.
You're just rubbish at this. I'm not doing this with you again, you're rubbish. You don't know what you're doing. You're an amateur.
Right. I'm sick of these slug trails that have started appearing. I don't know if you'll be able to see them, but they're everywhere. They're all over here. They're all down here. And my suspicion is they're just all living behind these boards, which are just screwed in on top of other boards like this. So I'm going to take them off, which is going to be a nightmare because everyone is screwed in about 1,000 times, well, apart from some of these. And the screws are about 3 miles long and they're all threaded. I know that already from taking down the big shelving unit that used to be here where this sits. I've got this handy little set which works really well for taking out threaded screws, but it just makes the job 3 times longer. So if I can ever open it. Anyway, there is a bit of a problem with cladding on the outside of the house as well, because behind here there's corrugated tin, like at the back of the house that you would have seen. But when the outside of the house has been clad with, maybe it's larch, I'm not sure. Can't open my window, so need to get the little saw on that as well. We're kind of going to concentrate on working inside today because it's raining. It's not even a screw, that's a nail. Right, well, obviously there's a kitchen worktop here with cupboards underneath and some wee kitchen cabinets as well. Scott hates the fact that we've not got any head height kitchen cabinets. We're always bending down to get stuff. But when the new kitchen goes in, we'll put some up. This plug socket was a bit of a worry. It had just been pulled out of its housing, you know, the protective backing housing, moved along, the wires sort of forced along the wall and just plonked against this,
and then screwed into the boards that I've just removed. It doesn't work properly. That'll be why. I haven't repaired it. I've just moved it back and screwed it back in because we need the plug sockets in the house at the minute. I can't turn them all off. I dream of the day that this is going to be, well, the bathroom's going to be an L-shaped bathroom. It's going to come out probably to about here, and the bath, I hope, will go this way, along here. And then we'll have a wall and a nice size utility closet here, I think, for the washing machine and cleaning things. Get that away out of sight as well. A white bathroom with some nice green plants and a nice white floor and a lovely picket fence with a little path up the middle. I'm going to hoover this and clean it all down with vinegar. Somebody in the comments said that he uses vinegar around the edges of his veggie patch. It keeps slugs away. So, I mean, I love vinegar for cleaning anyway. I always get big 5-litre bottles of vinegar. So this is all going to be sparkling and clean, if a bit colourful. This part of the British Isles is known as its last wilderness, the last wild Caledonian forest, with a unique ecosystem, home to particular species such as the western capercaillie, the crossbill, reindeer, wild goats and Scottish wildcats. It's suggested by scholars that its steep, rocky terrain made this land inhospitable to normal cultivation, so the forests were never cleared to make way for modern agriculture and stand today as a primordial totem to a world before the developments of men. But men did and do live here. All around us are the testaments to their lives, and though their homes are long gone, their tenacity and character can still be seen, evidenced in the stones of their houses which firmly stated, "We will live here," and the skeletons of their raised growing beds which declared, "We will survive here." In such an inhospitable environment with barely a flat surface to set your foot on, it took determination to live here. These forests are the stuff of Arthurian and Merlinic legend, of Neverland and Tolkien, but to many a family they were simply home, and we can learn from their example. Where today our vast, diverse communities are a faceless wilderness, they turned the wilderness into a community. In the Highlands and Islands, a ceilidh could spring up at a moment's notice, with a visit from a neighbour perhaps carrying his accordion. And of course, these parts are well renowned for flowing whisky, where a nearby local laird on the mainland once famously was passed a dram at a ceilidh. He stared at the glass for some moments before loudly asking of its provider, "Young man, is there something wrong with the top of the glass?" They were hard-working, determined people who didn't take themselves too seriously, perhaps realising better than ourselves that without one another, all of life is just an exercise in vanity.
There's a difference of opinion where this sill's concerned. I think that it juts out at the corners here way too much, and I just don't know how we're gonna take these off.
I just want them rounded. I don't want them taken off.
Well, I'll round them to begin with, and then we'll take it from there.
Well,
Still needs more taking off the bottom here. It just looks slightly thicker. The actual slate itself is slightly thicker on this side.
Jim's made this totally square, perfectly square, but because somebody's put the window in like that, slightly, rather than like that, we need to pack this out with something and then just silicone up the edges. But we need to talk about how we're going to finish the slate. So the finish of this now, we just need to decide whether we leave it as natural slate or we put WD-40 on it and oil it up. I mean, that looks lovely. The colours in that, because that's how it's going to come up, right? If we WD-40 it, the depth in that is so much more than leaving it natural.
You can't really see in this light. It's darker, but you can't really see it.
What do you think? Oh, we'll just leave it natural for now, and we can always. It'd be easy to oil it or WD-40 it in the future if we decide. Probably it's best if we wait to make a decision till these are stained, or well, not stained, but waxed up dark, and the walls are finished, so that we can go, right, okay, it wants to be darker or it wants to be natural. I don't like heights, just so everybody knows. I'm going to be fine when I'm up there, but it's the getting on and off that I don't like. Don't look down. It's fine. Right. Already too hot with nerves. I have an audience. I don't know if they're captive or not. So this is the primer that Scott put on here the other day. And here are the problem areas that you saw. It needs all the... Yeah. Well, we've obviously used that for lime plaster. It needs all the crud swept out of it again. I'm going to do that as I go along. It's not a particularly windy day, but... Got my flash band, which is a strip of bitumen, which in itself is waterproof, and it is designed to go over a joint like this, not to go under it. And it completely waterproofs it. It doesn't last forever, but it lasts for a long time. So I'm going to get on and do that with the best view in the world behind me. I can see the gutter needs cleaned out, and this vantage point as well. I don't like being near the edge, but I'm just going to ignore myself. I suppose this isn't really a problem area, so I don't need to be too precious about this.
think Scott might have the easy job being off editing today.
What are you doing on the roof?
Gadding about.
I've got you some tea.
Thank you. It's done. Do you want to come and see?
Not particularly.
Thank you. Ta-da!
It needs to be under.
I've already explained that.
Are you happy with your patching up?
Yeah, of course. It'd be nice to be able to paint the roof, but once you start,
Well, there's no point. It's just
paint it
gone.
all one colour. What a gorgeous day.
How are your knees?
Okay?
I need, whenever I'm on here, I've got to have some knee pads. This, I'm going to need over there, cabin.
Well, there's plenty of it.
The whole front of the cabin needs doing. And then obviously around where the old vent was for the pipe before we moved it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, this is the stuff for the job.
How long will it take you?
Especially in this heat, because it's quite malleable.
Yeah. It was cold and wet last time. But anyway, it was the stuff that was off. It wasn't, the product wasn't up to it. How long did it take you?
Not that long. An hour?
You know why that is? Because I did all the prep work.
Ta-da!
We thought we'd just give you an update, considering that the majority of this was bought with donations. We're still waiting on the camera. We got an update that the camera was in. I mean, the camera's coming Italy, France, UK, and here. And I'm obviously, that camera's an expensive camera bashing about in the back of all those vans. But it's finally on its way. Have you tracked it recently?
30th, it's due to arrive.
Which is?
Next week.
So just so we'll show you what we've got so far. Tripod.
A fancy tripod.
This is a very fancy tripod because obviously it needs to be for this kind of gear. We have what's called the fluid head, and this is for smooth movements when the camera's filming on the tripod. Gives more of a cinematic feel. The very expensive lens that has yet to be tried and tested. This should make all the difference. And the very swanky gimbal. I forgot what it was called for a second. We're not going to unbox any of this yet. We're going to wait till we've got everything and then we'll do it all together. We haven't been in any of it, have we? We haven't even looked at any of it yet.
No.
So everything's still sealed. It's like Christmas, isn't it?
Very fancy tech.
If somebody had told me that all this amount of money would be spent on... I mean, I've never bought camera equipment in my life. I owned a camcorder in the 90s.
You researched this for days and days
Oh,
and days.
yeah, I've really done the business on this.
Even down to the memory card that
Yeah,
we need.
the memory card for the camera. The memory card for the camera, £130. And that had been reduced by Amazon by 20 quid. It's just so expensive. But all worth it, because this is going to make a massive difference when it's all up and running.
You're going to get to see everything in 4K.
A few people thought that the reason that we didn't do an episode last week was because we were testing out this kit.
And some other people thought it was because we were playing with our new lamb, but she's not arrived yet. Soon.
No.
That would be a nice reason to take a holiday.
So, gimbal, fluid head, tripod, lens, and none of it is useful without the camera. And the camera was the first thing we ordered, yeah?
Yeah.
Mad.
You're right. You're leaning on your stick like an old man.
Yeah, because I'm not well.
There's an old 1899 map of the house that shows this area behind the cottage, this part going up the hill here. And there's a path right the way where these electricity pylons are, right up here, all the way over to the crossing point where the boats are. And it goes past on the map a well. And there's an old water pipe that goes up in this direction into the side of the house. So I was wondering if we could go and see if we can find it.
Somebody recently commented, obviously the comment was blocked, about the fact that there's an old well behind the house, because he's seen it on the maps. And he went into detail about it, but couldn't put it on because it just gave out too much information about exactly where this place is.
Yeah, we need to keep it private as much as possible.
So things like that we just can't allow on. And this is not our decision, this is the owners of the island's decision. But yeah, he put loads of detail. I mean, it's interesting to read, but I couldn't publish a comment.
The old path to the cottage comes right over the burn, and it goes right the way along the wall here. Oh, I fell again.
You need a stick like what I have.
It's certainly steep routes that they chose.
Steep doesn't tend to bother me anymore.
I saw the deer up here last night.
Now, we don't have an idea exactly where this well is.
Well, the footpath to the cottage used to come right next to the wall. And then you see how the wall juts out there?
Yeah.
It's here, it's in this area here, somewhere was the well.
Well, it's going to be underneath all this, isn't it?
Well, maybe. But I mean, they'll have covered it over, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be here. I should have brought some gloves with me. God, it's so wet round here.
Imagine having to climb that hill every morning for your well water. Yeah, it's got to be.
It's going to be under one of these piles of stones.
It's got to be right here.
Piles of wood.
Well, you can see how wet it is. Don't fall down the well, Timmy.
I'm going for it's here.
I mean, all this water, is this coming from the burn or is this springing up?
Well, water goes to the lowest point. All this water's coming from up here, isn't it? It's not coming from there. It's flowing down to the burn.
Well, it could be here.
The people that have been here before us have had kids. There's no way they're going to leave a well uncovered. But I just haven't got... I'm not getting my hands into all this now without any gloves on, for obvious reasons. It's like... It's a nightmare tick season.
We need to think about clearing up all this wood, don't we?
Well,
That's
everything...
That's we can burn that.
Everything feels really solid underneath. I would have thought that they would have marked this well with stonework.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We'd be able to see some stone. Well, there's stones there. I think this is a good spot. I think this is a contender right here because all of this marsh water is running from under here, right? And it's not uphill. So it's got to be under this fallen tree. And it's about the right spot on the map too. There's that bit of wall that juts out. I think it's under here.
Well, can you give that a push?
The size of this, it's insane, isn't it? Well, that's, I guess...
Well, this had to be felled by the owner because it was, well, I think that part of it had already fallen down. But this is a massive oak, isn't it?
That's insane.
I mean, that is a really old tree. It's a shame. But the reason it's been taken out is because of the electricity pylons that are here. We have a company.
Jeeves is intrepid today.
This is the furthest Jeeves has ever been away from the cottage in the last, like, 9 months.
Well, I think it's under here. So, I guess that's the end of that. Never to be seen again until this behemoth rots through in a way.
Was it dug so it would fill with water so they could come up and just get buckets of water, or was it a natural well?
No idea. It says well. It doesn't say cistern, so...
Yeah. So it is a well.
Yeah.
Jeeves.
I wonder if whenever someone was coming to visit the cottage on the way past, they were instructed to bring a pail down so they don't have to climb that bloody hill.
I am going to take you on a walk over this part of the island because we haven't done this in the next few days. I've got to do it before the fern comes back because it is all now starting to appear. And within a matter of weeks, this is going to be impassable again.
All the brambles starting to come out as well, just make it so difficult.
But I've wanted to do this since we got here, so... And it's not a long walk. But you never know what we might find. Oh, fern bracken everywhere.
It's squelchy underfoot.
This is where you put your trail cam, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you did
for a week.
And you did the Monty Python thing.
Oh, that's right, yeah. When you came up here.
That made me laugh till I cried.
But then the amount of times that I'd seen the deer here.
Yeah, there's deer tracks everywhere, but...
Jeeves, are you coming?
You know what we need to do? We need to put the trail cam in the attic to see what's stomping about up there.
Hey, Jeeves.
Has he lost his meow?
He's lost his meow. He isn't meowing much, is he? I've noticed that. Maybe he's got a bad throat from.
Yeah, he does have a bad throat. I don't want to have to take you to the vet, Jeeves.
He's fine. I don't think he needs the vet. You just found something interesting about this island.
That's right.
Now, St Columba, is it St Columba's Cave, which is also in Northumberland? Because I've been there where they laid his body to rest when they was... I can't remember if they was taking his body to Lindisfarne or they was going in the opposite direction.
I don't remember.
We should have read up on this before we spoke about this, but...
But there's and the Hebrides are rich with stories of Columba and, you know, ancient Celtic churches, very early Celtic churches.
He came from Ireland, didn't he?
Yeah. Made a monastery on Iona.
But he came here. He came to this island.
The ninth abbot of the monastery, who was called, I don't know how you pronounce it, Adamna, was he was collecting oak to do some sort of construction. I don't know if it was the roof or whatever on the monastery.
Good place to come.
Just over on the mainland, and they reported in his book on the life of Columba, they reported hitting a western zephyr, which brought in a wind, a squall, and they took shelter on this island. 12 boats sheltered in the harbour until it passed, and they managed to make it back to Iona. That's 697 AD.
Then there's also a connection. Is it Arthur Egg?
Arthur, yeah, the pre-Norse name for this island is in the Gaelic Arthuri, which is Arthur. And it's interesting that I was reading up about the Arthurian and Merlinic legends surrounding the Caledonian forest, of which this island is part. So that's a very interesting connection.
You've only just sent me that on Telegram, that message, and that's my connection with Arthur. It's like,
yeah, you're mad on Arthur.
So that's. I know the legends are all over the British Isles where Arthur's concerned, but having that connection with Columba, I never knew that St. Columba landed on this island. And then also knowing that the ancient name for this island is Arthur in the English vernacular.
Mm.
That's going to take up a lot more research.
Mm-hmm.
What if Excalibur is it out there?
And some watery tart in the loch.
Exactly. The Lady of the Lake.
What is it he says in Holy Grail?
Oh, I'm not even going to try quoting it. I'd get it wrong.
It's some watery tart and swords. Someone will tell us.
Dispensing swords.
Yeah.
I've been very, very ill.
Yeah, the last 2 days you've not been well. That's not why we didn't do a Sunday episode, but it hasn't knocked you for 6.
Unfortunately for me, it has all the symptoms of Lyme's disease with a tick bite, but I'm not convinced.
You don't have a headache.
No, I don't.
Like
but there's no bites. I have no bite marks on me. I mean, I was bitten.
It was a midge bite, wasn't it?
But it was a midge bite. It's sanding down this. You'll have seen me earlier in this episode sanding down the bookcase, and I think I even mentioned that I should have put on the mask earlier. That's what I believe. Whatever, even though I was outside using a sander that has got a heavy suction on it, I could feel myself getting a bit like, and I think that's what it was.
Well, when you said to me how you were feeling, I said it's definitely an inflammatory response to something. But Lyme's disease, it's so ambiguous, right? That all the symptoms it could be this and this and this and this, and there's not really any real way of testing for it either.
I'm not one for looking on the internet for like symptoms and things like that, because you do find after you've done that a couple of times that there are multiple things that could be wrong with you. Yeah. They just use the same things. These are the symptoms. You may have this,
and we tend to treat ourselves with food and herbs and spices, rather than going to the doctor. Well, you tend to come to me and say, I feel like this, what do I eat? And I feed you something.
I don't get ill like that. No. You can hear it in my voice. It was very flu-like symptoms, but it wasn't the flu. Like I said, never had a headache. I didn't feel like I had a head cold. I never had a sore throat or anything like that. But yesterday, I was really bad yesterday. It really did. Whatever it was, it really did knock me for 6 yesterday.
But you're halfway better today.
Yeah, I'm 50% better, and You know what I'm like? I'm very rarely ill in that sense.
I made you eat charcoal. How was that?
Not nice. Well, you got a phone call. Was it a message?
Yeah, we've been
Text message?
texting the local farmer we're friends with. He's got a bunch of pet lambs. He says, hop on over and pick one. He'll give us one.
Well, when you say pet lambs, these are orphaned lambs.
Yes. Yeah, and they call them pet lambs because they're raised fairly tame because of all the interaction they have with humans. I think most farmers don't bottle feed them like we do, you know, one to one. They have a feeder that they feed themselves with. But I don't know what his setup is. Maybe he does feed them by hand. But yeah, they're called pet lambs, and they tend to have big pot bellies and get fed lots of hay. But we'll be getting one that's only a couple of days old. So we have to think of a name for her. Scott said, tell him, can we have one of his smallest breeds so that it doesn't poo everywhere?
Well, we still will, but it's like Bree's a massive sheep. I mean, I had no idea that Bree's like a small horse.
She could pull a cart.
He just shook his head, yeah, and like flicked snot all over me.
Jeeves, good boy, Jeeves. Good boy.
Disgusting. Yeah. So we need a name. The other two are named after cheese.
Yeah, I've been looking up cheeses, and I don't think it's going to be a cheese-based. Don't think it's going to be a dairy-based name.
Kevin.
It's a girl.
So.
You're right, Jeeves. Is he biting you? Good boy, Jeeves. First snot, then biting him.
Jeeves, what have I done to you?
He hates you.
There was no need for it.